Well, hello everyone. Eric with Ham Radio Concepts, KJ4YZI. Finally, a little late to the party, but checking out the Xiegu X108G China HF transceiver. This thing is pretty neat. Let's get into it. Before I get into this and show you all about it, I want to mention that if you follow on Facebook the group Vero Beach QRP, the link is in the description of this video right below. Vero Beach QRP is a couple guys here locally that are in that group, and I'll be posting a lot of stuff when I'm QRP there. It's local to me, so if you want to follow along and share your crazy ideas on QRP, show us what you got. Throw out there and see who's on the air, make a contact. Let's meet up. Check out the Vero Beach QRP Facebook page or group. Everybody gets accepted. It's not mine, but I'm helping moderate it. So if you want to get on there and check out, hope to see you on there. All right, so let's get into it. The X108G HF transceiver, which is a China HF transceiver that actually got decent reviews on eHam. There's a lot of people with videos on YouTube of this, and I'm a little late to the party, but I want to show you everything about this radio because you'd make your opinions on watching multiple videos, don't you? Because if you don't, and you watch one video and make a purchase, well, you may end up with a disaster. But consider my video here, the X108G. I made some contacts on it today. I want to show you all about this in an in-depth review, maybe a few minutes longer than normal, but I hope you spare me. You remember I did a video on this. This was the digital PSK RIDI modem that I got from a China company on eBay in China, and I'm still happy with this thing. I love this thing, and I found out that he's not the manufacturer, but he is a reseller. So I went browsing through his store, and the link is in the description. It's FlyXY on eBay, I think, and the link is in my description. Check out his store because he's got a few different radio things in there. A lot of little, doodads and stuff in there that you can use for radio and whatever, but I stumbled upon this, and I've always wanted to play with one of these. The Xiegu X108G is a couple years old already. They have a couple different revisions. They actually have a newer model, but this one does a lot that almost the same thing as the new one with a couple less bells and whistles. But I've seen this same radio on Amazon and other stores for over $500, $599, $565. I got this from him on eBay for $480 shipped to my house. And the thing is that this guy talks to me. I found this on 446shop.com, and I still can't get a hold of those people. So I don't know how, anything about that. These certain companies or sellers or whatever, they just don't communicate. This guy right here will actually get back to you. His name is Andy. He seems like a really nice guy, answers all the questions, offers support. So that's the real reason I'm just mentioning his store and some other things that I actually purchased from him that you'll see here shortly. So the X108G. What is it? It's a 20-watt, 160 through 10 meter HF radio. 20 watt. Now I have my 817. I love my 817. You've seen my 817 in many videos. But the extra 20 watts plus the control right built inside the Ham Radio Deluxe control for using it for PSK digital modes like FT8 and such that you'll see in the next video that I got coming out makes it a good winner too, because now I don't have to have additional interfaces to purchase. With a regular micro USB, and I'll show you in the next video, you'll see a glimpse of it in this video, I can control this with HRD and set it up with a couple audio cables for my computer. Now, color screen that you saw on the front, we'll turn that on in a minute. Volume and power knob here, turns on and off. A LAN port. Now this is an 8-pin modular Ethernet looking port because normally a mic port doesn't have lights on it. This looks like a LAN port with the transmit and receive lights, LEDs, green and orange. So it looks the same thing as the LAN port on my computer. The color screen, like I said, 4 function buttons here, and then the channel select knob actually isn't free floating like a 706 ICOM or a FT991. It's got clicks, and that's one thing John didn't like, was that it clicks. No big deal. You can go blasting through it, but he thought it would be real spinny. And 2 more buttons over here, and I'll show you these buttons here in a second. Changing menu would be pushing the channel knob in, okay, or changing the step size. You'll see that in a minute. The case design, top firing speaker. They call this like a ruggedized because I think in the beginning, they was an option to get these handles and the feet. It was an option back in the day, and now I think they all come with it. But the case design is like a bigger heat sink. It does get a little bit warm, but if you keep air moving around this thing, or at least up off where the vents are open, it should cool itself pretty good. DC power here, it's got an unusual power cord, not a regular Kenwood or Yaesu power cord, but does come with one, and it's not fused. So I recommend first that you would take and put power poles on it or something, as well as fuses, okay? SO239 here for your antenna. Auxiliary port, from my understanding, does nothing at this time. Maybe in future for firmware updates, I'm not sure. Speaker output, and I'll show you the speaker output, regular external speaker or for the data modes. Key for paddle or key. I haven't tried yet if this thing automatically has an automatic keyer inside, but we'll go through it. It should, I hope. Accessory port. The accessory port looks identical to a Yaesu 6-pin port. However, it is not. It is the same looking plug. A Yaesu plug will fit it, but a different pinout. Same thing as a PS2. And I'm going to show you in the next video how I wired mine to get it to work for digital modes. USB. Now, a micro USB is for firmware updates as well as PTT and rig control through Ham Radio Deluxe and other software. Now, again, I'm going to make you watch the other video to see how to set that up and how it works. But yes, you can take this with a netbook out in the field and run digital modes with PC control or your computer at home. PC control over USB and run the rig just like I would my radio through HRD. Show you that later. Ground screw here, which it fell out today. I lost it. My fault. Must have not been in there all the way, but I can find a new one. So let me go into the radio. We'll turn it on. I know you want to see all about the features and stuff inside. We'll go into that. And I got a little bit of footage of making contacts today to Costa Rica with me and John on 20 watts and a wire. Kilo Juliet 4 Yankee Zulu India in Florida. You got a good signal 5759 from Costa Rica into Florida. I'm just testing out a new radio here, a X108G HF transceiver with a end-fed wire at 20 watts on the park. Over.
Well, you're doing a fantastic job. You're a good solid 5.9 here into Costa Rica with the 20-watt end-fed antenna. You're doing great. Can I get a name for the log?
I'm sorry, say again?
Can I get a name for the log, please?
Oh, absolutely. Name is Eric Echo Romeo India Charlie, and we're in Vero Beach, Florida, Echo Lima 97. Over.
I copy the Vero Beach, Florida, Eric. Thank you very much for the contact.
All right, so hopefully the camera looks as best as I can get it here with the screen display and the refresh. It looks like it's blinking. So when you're on here, let's start in the beginning here. All right, a lot of options here. So on the screen, we're just showing you the screen here. Voltage on the top. Time could be very useful if you're out in the field. Shows you your time. Okay. Receiving now, VFO-A, and I can change VFO-A, VFO-B. The mode here, and your band spread or your width. So we'll go over all this in a minute. And then we have your frequency here. You have your signal meter down here, S1 through S60, and your SWR at the same time when you're transmitting, so you can see if your SWR starts to go up or not. Now I will say the screen in here is a tiny bit cocked on the inside behind the glass, and I'm going to blame that again on the Postal Service because the box was not completely smashed like the last one that you never saw in video, but you know, it's been thrown around and dropped, so I'm going to take this thing apart and just move that around and get it straight in there. Not a big deal, but I looked online and didn't see too many other issues or people with the same issue. There are Facebook groups and stuff that have these radios. So and on the bottom, your power output level right now, it's at 16 watts. So when I push the knob here, the frequency knob, that's how I would change the different functions. You know, function 1, 2, 3, and 4 would be TS plus, TS minus. That's basically, not sure what they call it, maybe time slot, I'm not sure, but that's your step size. So if I go here, highlighting the 4, then I could change this down here to 40 megahertz, or 40 meters, excuse me. Or I can go up here to 15 meters, and then go like this, and go through 15 meters. Okay, so there's really no button that goes band up, band down. That's why everybody keeps grabbing on these buttons over here, going to band up, band down, but that's actually not the case. That would be, I'll show you. So your first four functions here, the TS plus, TS minus, is going to move your space for your step size. Okay, your attenuator, it's got an attenuator. You see it light up here on the top, and that does filter out some of the noise. That I have a lot of noise here, and that does kind of attenuate the signal quite a bit, as well as a preamplifier, which actually brings in the signal quite loud. I mean, you can see here it's S5 noise level with no signal. Without the preamp, I'm at down here to S2. So the difference is if you have a S9 signal without that thing and you turn it on, it's going to overload the front end. I mean, it really sometimes is not necessary. I know radios where you have to have the preamp on at all times just to make it normal. This thing's pretty hot on that preamp, I got to say. It takes you from not being hardly heard to hearing that station over the noise. So the next four here, mode, so you have lower side, upper side, CW, and AM. There is no FM. There is no FM. However, AM does do the full 20 watts. That's pretty interesting. Normally, AM on rigs is a lot lower than the full output on sideband and FM and stuff. So full 20 watts out on AM. No FM. So if you are thinking about 10-meter FM repeaters, not really possible with this radio. No offsets or nothing. If you're not interested in 10-meter FM repeaters, then probably not a big deal. AGC. So it's got AGC, slow, fast, and off. Okay? Very useful for different modes, AGC. Whether it's CW or sideband or digital data modes. Noise blanker. Actually have 1, 2, 3 levels of noise blanker. You see that indicated here, NB3, and then you can turn it off. All right. The AB, because you have VFO-A and VFO-B. So you have two different VFOs. The next page, split operation, A to B, split, RIT, and for contest operations and whatnot, you can split and work offsets, 5 kC up or whatever, or using it for various purposes. Power here, so you can see on the bottom, 17 watts, and if I hit power, I can use the buttons over here to go up and down, and I'll show you on the mic. You can do that on the mic also. Half-watt increments, so you really can dial in 1 watt or 14.5 watts or 19.5 watts or 20 watts or 1 watt. You can really dial it in per half watt. Next page we have for memories, VFO or memory mode, memory write, memory channel, so you can operate in memory mode. And on HF rigs, I normally don't do that. I mean, unless there's a 10-meter repeater or a net frequency that you're on every day, you could use that. But I mean, normally you're spinning the dial, right? So the memories are there. I forget how many memories there are, maybe 30 or 50 if my mind is correct. Next page we have filter or the width, the bandwidth. So right now it's 2.3 kilohertz, and I can go to 6, which is pretty wide. That must be for AM. And 0.5 for CW, so you can get it really narrow. Average at 2.3. I think my Yaesu is 2.4 normally, and then 6, which is really wide. I'm not sure. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't think there's radios that usually have. I thought 5 was the widest normal radios have. So it gets pretty wide. The key and key speed. So I guess you can use, you can operate it normal key, reverse key, and change the speed. So the speed here would be 10 words a minute. So yeah, I can use my paddle. It's got a keyer built in. Very cool. I was unaware of that until I really walked through it. And the time, you can set the time here. Next menu, the squelch and the compression. So the compression for microphone, you can go 10 to 1, 5 to 1, 3 to 1, 2 to 1, 1 to 1. I'm not sure exactly the difference. I haven't radio checked it with, I haven't got an on-air report yet with anybody else in the differences. The last on-air report I got from Jan, KK4GGJ, said that it was a little more bassy than it was tone. So maybe the compression would change my mic, settings all around. There is no mic gain to my knowledge on here. And I'm not sure what firmware improvements have done. I'm afraid to do a firmware update yet until I really read about it, but I can do a firmware update. Maybe they added some stuff. I'm not sure. You know, easy enough to just fly through real quick and find. I have to say it's easier than some other radios like Icons. And I can tell you right now, I can open this thing up and use it faster than I can use John's 706 Mark II-G. That thing's got buttons and hidden things everywhere. This one's pretty simple. And that's what I like to do. I like to get a radio real quick and just see how fast I can play with it before I haven't really read the manual yet on this thoroughly to see anything I might have missed, but you know, like I did the IC7300 video, I never touched that manual, and I got in and on a band quick-like, so it was easy to navigate. This thing's pretty easy to navigate, not that hard. The hardest part was trying to figure out how to change bands, realizing that you had to, you know, change, you know, different sections here to go to different, like this, to go to PSK frequency like this. I would do it that way, all right? So let me take a look at the mic real quick. So the microphone really resembles an Icon microphone I used before. Not sure if they've copied the design or what, but it is a backlit microphone that the light times out eventually. Has a transmit and a receive LED on it. And you can use the microphone to change bands quickly with the numbers here. So I can go, let's see. I can go 20 meters, I can go 160 meters, I can go 80 meters. So you can push it on here in the video. I'll show you on the front of the radio, there's no band up and down. So you got to do it from the microphone, which is not a big deal. But you can direct entry your frequency in. 028.400. Enter. There's 10 meters, okay? And you could also use your function 1, function 2 right from here. Remote tuner option for if you get the 125 watt tuner and amplifier that they have, or the automatic antenna tuner, you can call it on here, but that's a whole separate unit. So microphone is RJ45, again, modular 8-pin. That detaches from the bottom of the microphone, and so there you have it.
Kilo Delta 8, Victor Radio X-ray, standing by.
Kilo Mike 4, Mike Charlie Kilo.
The station ending hotel standby. I've got Kilo Mike 4, Mike Charlie Kilo. You're 5'9" here into Costa Rica.
All right, 73, thank you very much. Name here is John, also in Vero Beach.
So it's actually fully compatible with Ham Radio Deluxe and Digital Master, and right now this is WSJT-X or WSJT-X for FT8 digital mode, JT65 and JT9. So I have it connected, and there's going to be a whole separate video on this. I've done PSK on it, I've done RIDI on it, I have done FT8. So it's decoding FT8 right now, and full band control here through this program, through Digital Master, through Ham Radio Deluxe 14.074. And if I just go to, let's see, find the mouse here, if I want to go to 40 meters, it switches to 40, it switches to 60 meters. So HRD does work with it. Show you how to set that up with separate video. The PTT is over USB and through HRD. So fully compatible in the field. If you got a netbook like this and you want to do some digital modes on this thing, it's ready to go. I made my own cable. It's using a regular audio cable from speaker out to the microphone in. Make sure you watch the video if you're interested in making or setting this up, and a stereo out to the 6-pin data port on the back, which looks identical to the Yaesu's, but it is not wired the same. So for more information on that, check out my video on using this on digital modes. You know, in the field, very, very possible for using this in the field.
To wait for the 7610. some switching technology here. I can have two radios and one antenna, and then they'll wait for it to switch off and put the other one on to transmit.
Well, guys, this sums up the radio itself, and part 2 is going to be how I set it up and used it with digital modes. And I hope you check out this video and enjoyed it. You know, there's a lot of people out there that are always after different options, and hopefully this video just showed you another one. Whether you like the radio or not, like the video for my efforts. Subscribe, check out more of my videos on YouTube. Like me on Ham Radio Concepts on Facebook, and more videos on the way. Check out the Vero Beach QRP group Facebook page. That's where I'll be posting a lot of stuff. More videos on the way. And 7-3 from KJ4YZI.